is a temperature and humidity sensor. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use this sensor with the Arduino. We are going to add the sensor to our beginner series build. So if you've seen my previous videos, this is the Arduino beginner series, and we've got our build this far. In the previous video, we added the light sensor. Also, we added a few LEDs. So if you're new here, I recommend you start from the beginning. Now, in this video, I'm going to add this temperature and humidity sensor. Well, first, let's talk about the wiring. You can see here, there is a minus, plus, and an out. The minus is going to be the ground pin, obviously. The plus would be the positive pin. The out is going to be the data pin. So let's wire it up first. Now, let's wire up the sensor. You can see here, I have some room left in here next to the light sensor that I'm going to plug in the temperature sensor. So adding that here. Now I need to start connecting these three pins. First, I'm going to start with the ground pin. So if you remember in a previous video, we did these two columns that we already connected to the ground and this other column to the positive voltage or to the 5 volt. So here I'm going to connect this minus to the ground using this wire, and you can see here that we already did that. Now I'm going to connect the 5 volt, so I need this last pin to go to the 5 volt. So all I need is to tab into this column here. And that is my full 5 volt connection. So the last pin is the middle one, and that's the data pin. And in this scenario, I'm going to use, so let me just tab into the data pin first. And then I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to use this pin here that is D5. So if you can see this, I'm going to the D5 and that's connecting the data pin to the D5. In a previous video, we've added these three LEDs. So we have one on pin 2, 3, and 4. We have three different LEDs. We are going to use them to read the temperature. So based on the temperature reading coming from the sensor, we are going to use one LED for cold, maybe green, and then the white or the yellow one for warm and red for hot. So this is going to be our temperature indicators. Also, I'm going to take you to the computer, show you the code that we need to work with the temperature sensor. Then we're going to combine that with the code that we already learned for the LEDs. And we're going to turn some LEDs on depending on the temperature reading. So now I have uploaded the code and you can see the middle LED is on. And this is an indication of a warm temperature. The reason I have the fire here next to the temperature sensor is to test that it's actually working. If the temperature rises high enough, then we should see the red LED on, as you can see here. So it already switched to the red LED, indicating a very hot temperature. As the temperature cools down, it will switch back to the warm, or if it gets cold enough, then it will turn on the green LED. So now I show you how this works. I'm going to take you back to the computer and then we can look over the code. Now we are at the computer here. Let's look at a few things. So this is the code for the DHT11 or the temperature and humidity sensor. In this code here, I'm going to focus on reading the temperature. This sensor is also capable of reading the humidity, as I mentioned earlier in the video. I don't want this video to get too long, So I'm going to focus on the temperature reading on this video. And in a future video, I'm going to show you how you can use the same sensor to read the humidity. Also, we're going to discuss this screen here, which is the serial monitor. As you can see here at the bottom of my IDE, let me pull this up here so you can see, there is an active temperature reading. This is the serial monitor. If you click on tools and then you click on serial monitor here, that's what you get. And if you connect your Arduino, then you'll see that there is a feedback and a reading from the Arduino here. And I'm just displaying the temperature in Fahrenheit and in Celsius. Let me drop this down here and go over the code. This is just the library that we're using for the sensor. This is the pin that we are connected, the data pin, which is pin 5, that we are connected the sensor to. These are the LEDs that we're using, one for cold, warm, and hot. This is the function that gives us the reading, obviously in Celsius, then we have to convert that to Fahrenheit. In the setup function, we are declaring the serial monitor or the beginning the serial monitor reading. That's how you get that serial monitor reading here at the bottom. Then these are the pin mode for the three LEDs. Obviously, they are set up to be an output. And then this is just a begin reading for the DHT. In the loop function, we start with a delay. You don't want your reading to be very quickly, otherwise you'll get an inaccurate reading. You want some delay waiting for that sensor to reset and settle. This is just the number that we're getting from the temperature reading in Celsius. We have to convert that to Fahrenheit down here. Then this is just the serial monitor output. And here saying if there is no reading, output a message that says failed to read it from the sensor. Down here, we have the conversion like we discussed, and we're just outputting the numbers to the serial monitor. And you can see that I'm outputting both the Celsius and the Fahrenheit. The current reading on my side is 81 and 30.32 Fahrenheit. That sounds a little bit high, but remember, those sensors are not very accurate. Like there are a few degrees here and there that might be because they're cheap sensors that I bought from Amazon, so they're not very accurate. Now, for the purpose of learning, they do just fine. And then here is just a very simple if-else statement to turn these LED on and off depending on the temperature reading. So I'm saying anything under 50 is cold, and I'm turning the cold LED on, and you can see the other two LEDs off. Anything between 50 and under 83, I'm putting it into warm, and I'm turning the warm LED on, and the rest are off. Then anything else, it's hot, and I'm turning the hot LED on. So that's the code. And as you can see here, let me try to bring this down. It's really simple code here that you can try yourself. We are using the library here. Other than the library and this method here, then really the rest of it is what we've already learned from blinking LEDs. In the next video, what I'm going to show you is we are going to use the same sensor to read humidity and output that humidity to the serial monitor. Also, I will leave a copy of this code on my website just in case you want to try it. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.